Welcome everyone, this is Pineleaf Needles, and today we are starting a new Minecraft series. This is Pinetopia Season 2. In our previous season, we were highlighting the 1.14 updates, the Villager and Pillager update, where we fortified a village to help it survive the pillagers. This time, we are looking for bees because this is now 1.15, the Buzzing Bees update. And you can guess what was the main thing that was added there. Bees and several things that relate to bees. So I want to be able to take advantage of the new update, which means I'm going to have to find some bees. And of course, I'm also going to be needing a means to get some shut-eye so I don't get stuck out here with a bunch of phantoms or anything like that. Of course, actually, all mobs can turn nasty on you, so I would like to take care of that. Take care of that. I think that'll be enough. I'm sure some will say that's more than enough. I don't necessarily get right straight to a place where I can get cobble. No, I just need 3 sheep and I'll be able to get a bed there. Of course, either that or find the corpses of 3 sheep because we've got wolves hunting around, and very often you get rain and wool lying all over the place when you got wolves around, since the sheep themselves often get killed. Just to make sure I find that wool before the wool despawns. Now, it looks like I'm in a forest, it looks like. Yeah, it looks like a regular forest. So since I'm in a forest, it means I'm not going to find any bees here, but there shouldn't be a plains too far away, or maybe even a flower forest. From what I heard, meaning the patch notes, it says that you can find bees in a plains, a sunflower plains, or a flower forest. So those are the types of places I'm going to seek. The wolves are looking for sheep. I'm looking for sheep. Let's see who manages to get there first. Yes, the pine versus the wolves in the struggle for sheep. If I don't find any sheep and I have to stay awake, I'll probably do what I usually do in the MHC, and that is do some mining and try to get some resources of that type. Right now, my main thing that I'm looking for, of course, are beehives and bees and things like that. Looks like we've got a nice river here leading to a shoreline. Nice. And there are some flowers there, which means that we might be getting close to a plains. Maybe. And it'd be nice if we get some trees in our plains. If you don't have trees in your plains, which I know it's asking for a lot to have plains and trees at the same time, then you're going to have a tough time to get bees, because bees like to nest against trees. Actually, in the opposite direction than I had just turned before, it does look rather plains-like. So that's the way I'm going to go. Maybe I have better luck in getting salmon than I had at getting wool. There you go. Well, one piece. Something I could potentially eat. Ah! Look at here. 2 bees. Yes. Nice. That is something I can actually work with and be able to use. Now, let's see if we've got anything down here. No, but at least it's a good place for me to get some cobble. But I think I'll be able to make a decent start from here because you can breed bees with flowers. So having two bees isn't a problem. It's when you have only one bee, you can't breed them or anything like that. That's when things are really going to be troublesome. All right, let's see. We've got cattle here. We've got the bees over there. That means the one thing that I could use for the moment are sheep. All right, I'm nice and close to a forest. Good. I've got some horses here. Okay, I've got a taiga over there, and I saw that taiga, I think, from other places also. So a nice variety of woods. Yes, I think this will do very, very well. Ah, good. 4 sheep, it looks like. That means I can use 2 of them to get my wool, and the other 2 I could use for breeding. Yes, because now I should have 3 wool. Good. And what else do I need in order to get started? A bed, some bees. Perfect. Now, I would like to have a village at some point, of course. But if worse comes to worse, I could. Oh, pumpkins. That's what else I could use. Pumpkins. Yes. Wonderful seed. It's a wonderful seed for what I plan to do. And what is it that I plan to do for this season? I'm planning to do something that echoes an old D&D module. The module was called Against the Cult of the Reptile God, and while playing with the words, I thought, how about the cult of the arthropod? That sounds like a nice name. I know it's a strange twisting of words and stuff like that, but I thought then having a cult and building their facilities and everything in this is going to in some way, of course, as much as possible, relate to arthropods. Now, in Minecraft, we have 5 types of arthropods in this version. One of them is are bees, and those are the newest additions to the arthropod family. The second are spiders, which means finding a spider spawner would be nice, and I could use that as a central operations for the dungeon. There are also cave spiders, which a variant of the spiders that you find in mine shafts and the likes. So I presume I'm going to run into those whether I like it or not. The third, no, okay, those are third, spiders and cave spiders, I'll count those 2 different ones, would be the silverfish. And if I go through this entire series and never see a silverfish, it's not going to be pain to my heart because I'm not exactly fond of silverfish. I'm not sure how I'm going to control silverfish or anything like that. So most likely I'm not going to worry too much about it and stick mainly to the bees and the spiders. There you go. But because silverfish, you only find them in a few spots, like strongholds and the like, and I might run to them if I decide to try to go to the end or something like that. But outside of that, yeah, I usually do only one thing to silverfish spawners. I destroy them so the silverfish don't kill me. I may have to rethink that policy, but that's another matter. But that's the end of the first day, and then I could start serious thinking about what type of base to make. I just noticed that we do have a distinct lack of flowers around here. And I think the bees are looking for said flowers. So I think we should do them a favor and collect some flowers before we go about and taking care of other matters, such as getting my starting base out, which, considering that it's near a bee nest, I think that the best thing that we could do is to make it a beekeeper's lodge, a place where the beekeepers come and work near the nest. And I think that would be all nice and perfect for what we want to do. Okay, I just trying to make sure that I collect a nice variety of flowers. And then we'll finish off with a few oxeyes. Go. And finally this. Good. That should be plenty with all that. Maybe I'll come here later and do some mining. But right now I want to take care of the bees to make sure that they have some nice flowers in which to get their nectar. And speaking of sustenance, I should also take an egg. There we go. There you go. Now the bees should have no trouble in finding flowers. Okay, here's the next one. Good. Yes. How about that? Look, this bee's way over there. Hey, hey, flowers over here. Actually, let me lead them over. I think you can get bees to follow you if you are holding a flower. There you go. Now, all right, good. All right, so now that bee is nice and happy. Now, what happened to the other bees? I hope I didn't lose a bee as a result of this, because that would really be nasty if the bees got lost due to not having any flowers in the area. Let's see. Well, there is some honey here, so obviously they did find some. All right. Good. Now, let's see. We can. What I want to do, I don't want to hurt the nest, obviously. All right. Good. Now, how much do we have in there right now? Right now, it's at honey level 2. All right, I'll check on that later on, and I'll just have to hope that nothing untoward happened because of the lack of nectar at the time. Now, I want to build a little lodge here, as I said, for the beekeepers. How about this being a nice area right here? Good. Now, what I want to make it is a bit of a log cabin. But I would like to do this in spruce. I like spruce, and there is some spruce down there, and I have a good amount of room, so I should have no trouble with that. I will get an axe and a pickaxe though, because that would be all nice and perfect to have around. I am going to need to actually get some good stuff eventually, but I think this should do. And I'll need a shovel, especially when I start grabbing some of the honey that's off of here. Then I'll also want to take the honey and put a campfire under it and use the shovel to put out the fire afterwards. Now let's see. I'm wondering if I'm going to run into any of those bees along the way, because I think I saw uh, one roaming down in this area, but I don't know if it's still out or if it'll eventually return or if it got lost or what. If it does get lost, I'll have to make sure it finds its way again. Now let's start chopping away and let's get plenty of logs to use for our cabin, because that's what I'll do. Is I'll just use a log cabin style, sort of inspired by the style that you have for the taiga villages. Fortunately, I don't remember what they exactly look like, but I think as I said, I'll just use it as an inspiration, not necessarily exactly like it anyway. I've collected the wood, but I notice that the hive is now full of honey, so I think I might go and get some sand, create some glass so that I could start collecting honey, because the bees aren't going to do much in creating new honey as long as the nest is full. So we will go and take care of that. This, I'll need this, and I'll also need to make a campfire, because trying to collect honey without a campfire is probably a dangerous enterprise. There you go. Now let's see if I can remember the recipe for a campfire. First, let's start cooking up some of the sand. And now for the campfire, I think it needs sticks, right? All right, charcoal, sticks, and logs. Yeah, the oak logs will do, because I want to keep the spruce logs for the building project. There we go. Now I'll stick this down right here. Oh yeah, I forgot that. Right, I think that works properly. I'll find out in a moment. Let's see if I can actually. All right, this should be enough in order to at least get some glass here. Now, if I'm doing this right, I should be able to collect the honey now. Right? All right, that gives me one honey bottle. All right. That's my first bottle of honey, so I'll store that away. I'll take that. We'll see what I could do with the glass later, but I might use it to make more bottles, eventually get more honey, and now the bees can get back to work. Good. And I need to get to work on getting some coal. I think that'll be a good idea, because I don't want to use too much on the trees on this, because I'll need wood in order to build my house. Now I need to clear out some ground for this and survey out the area. Let's see. I think this is going to be the width. That can be the depth. Yeah, make it that deep and that wide. I'm thinking about. Ooh, I don't need this. There you go. Put up the campfire. All right, it's good to know that you can use a shovel for that. Thank you, Wiki, for that little piece of information. Now, I'm thinking of doing this 7. Ooh, sunset again. The hive is now full again, so I went down to collect some iron. I did find 6 pieces, so that's good. And the reason why I'm doing that is so I could get some flint and steel so I could relight the campfire. I'm going to be turning it on and off, being a responsible citizen there to turn off the campfire on and off whenever I need it. There, let's go and do that. So now let's head all in and let's, there you go. Perfect. And I think it must be missing a block to this still. Aha! There it is. That should do it, right? Good. Let's make sure there's no more around here. I decided this tree was in a very inconvenient location and the wood would come in handy. So there, because I think this is around where I'll be building my house. Yeah, very inconvenient place for this. There you go. Done. And I could just think about what I want to do with this iron. 5 pieces of iron. Probably a pickaxe. It's probably the best thing to use that for. But we are out of time right now. When we return next time, I'm going to actually build the starter house when we return for the next episode of Piney Plays Minecraft Pinetopia for the Buzzing Bees update.